Port St. Lucie, Florida. It's one of the up-and-coming places to live in South Florida. Many people relocate there from out of state, and many people that already live in Florida have been relocating there. It just surpassed the population of Fort Lauderdale. So is Port St. Lucie overcrowded? Yes and no. No is probably the main answer because of the land mass. If you Google Maps Port St. Lucie and you compare it to Fort Lauderdale, you will see that Fort Lauderdale is in a short, condensed area, and Port St. Lucie has more land mass. And as Port St. Lucie expands to the west of I-95, it'll give it continued capacity to grow and to have the adequate infrastructure and not to be too overcrowded. So there's an argument to be made because of the land mass, the way the geographical land is structured. Port St. Lucie has enough room for the increased population and continued development. Now, it is overcrowded compared to the past, right? Because obviously it's developed more. It is getting, as more people go, roads become a little bit more crowded, shops become a little bit more crowded. Now, I'm a nomad, okay, so I travel in and out of certain areas. So you say, how does that give me the right to speak on it? Well, I think that gives me a good perspective because I've been to Fort Lauderdale, I've spent time there. I've been to Port St. Lucie, I've been up and down the east coast of America. So I've seen and I have a feel for the energy of these different places. And what I can tell you is Port St. Lucie is not overcrowded in many regards, and it's still an overall great place to live if you want to live in southern Florida without the congestion of South Florida. It's relatively close to the ocean, but it's not directly on the ocean. It has a good level of diversity, but it's not the full, like, very South Florida Latin feel, like the Latin American Caribbean vibe. It's not that, but it has people from all over the country and all over the world. It's a good mix of different groups of people. Would I live in Port St. Lucie? Yeah, I would. If that was something that I wanted to settle down and put roots, I would consider it. I think I personally may want to live a little bit closer to the beach, even though it's within 10-15 minutes, but I kind of want to live on the beach. And for me, again, as a nomad, I look at housing different. If you were raising a family or you were retiring, is it a good place to live? Yes. The one negative is all the houses kind of look and feel the same. The mass development, it's got a generic feel, great clean streets, good shops, newer infrastructure, but all the houses have a lack of character. Even the older houses, they all look basically generic. It doesn't have a feel of something, you know, like a close city to it, Stuart, Florida. It has some older houses that give it character and some newer houses. It has a downtown. So overall, the bottom line is you want to know, should you move there? Well, I think overall, I don't think you would be, in general terms, disappointed. I think before you move, you should live there for a couple years. But I understand the philosophy of being out of state and wanting to know, because you don't have the option to come and rent, or you don't want to rent and you just want to buy, you want to retire, or you want to move. And yeah, the answer is I think you'd be okay. But I think right now, you know, houses in that area, I don't know, you could say they're overpriced, but everything's overpriced right now. So, you know, as long as you're below your financial means, I would say overall you should do okay. Would it be my first choice? I don't know if it'd be my first choice. It would be in the top 5 places, I would say, in South Florida. And I think it has a lot to offer. I love the area. I like the vibe overall. I definitely like it compared to Fort Lauderdale. I wouldn't want to live in Fort Lauderdale. Why? Too crowded. Once you get south of Boca Raton, very crowded, very congested. So, you know, my thoughts as a nomad traveler, okay, not as someone who's lived there, but spent time in there and spent time in other places in South Florida, which allows me to give you a perspective on the comparison. the comparison is, if you don't want to be on top of people, if nightlife is not the big concern of your journey at this point in your life, then yeah, I would say it's a relatively peaceful area with good hospitals, good shops, good amenities. And as long as you're living below your means, whether you're retired or still working, and you can, secure your job, or you have, your income, and I think you'd be overall good. I think you would do good again to rent first, but I don't know. I mean, I hesitate when I say that, because I understand the mindset. You don't want to rent for a year, then buy, and do whatever's best for you. But overall, I would say, yeah, put it on your list. There's no doubt about it. And I still don't think it's overcrowded. I think that, when you speak to people that have lived there for a few years, they're going to say it's getting overcrowded, because their philosophy is that of a parent who has raised their child. When a parent raises their child, they tend to always see their child as a baby, because they remember having the kid and what the kid was like when it was a baby. So when you live in one area for a long period of time, and as that area develops and get older, you always see that area as your baby, as the child when you first had it, when you first came. But Port St. Lucie is not what it was years ago. It's different. Life will always be different. And people get stuck in the mentality of it's not the same. Nothing stays the same. That's not life. It's just the way, something we all have to deal with in our own way, no matter where we live. So overall, my vibes and my impression of Port St. Lucie are good. Overall, I still think you're okay in general terms to live there. I think the atmosphere and the environment and the climate is pleasurable. Is it a good investment? Again, housing is it's a relative thing to your individual circumstance, and how much, of your money you want to commit to it. So that's, I have to leave that to you. I hate to not give you a direct answer, but I'm giving you a direct answer when I'm giving you a perspective on the area, my thoughts, and in being in other areas. So overall, gets a thumbs up. Overall, if you move there and you live there for a couple of years, you're going to say it's getting overcrowded, because again, you're going to remember Port St. Lucie the year you moved there, and then after a few years, you're going to say, well, now it's crowded, now it's different. And so you just have to remember that everything changes. But overall, I think you would be good for years to come in general terms. But don't get ahead of yourself. Don't go in a rush to buy. If you can discipline yourself and not buy and rent and live, depending on your circumstance. And if you can look around surrounding areas to see if you've made like a surrounding town different, or that would obviously be best, because there's nothing like you personally coming and you personally experiencing life for yourself, because everyone has their opinion, and everyone's opinion is different, because everyone has a different personality. Every human in this world has a different fingerprint. So even though we all may have similarities, we are all a little bit unique in our opinion and perspective based on who we are as a person and what we like. So either way, as far as living in Florida in general, double thumbs up. I grew up in New Jersey, and now pretty much have relocated to Florida. And I do look to buy property maybe eventually. But as a nomad right now, and as a nomad in the beginning of my journey, I really kind of looked to see what areas of Florida I would like. And I visited all over Florida, north, south, east, west. And what I found for me is that I do prefer the southeast region of Florida in general terms. And then, you have to kind of see what type of town or city speaks to your individual personality and your needs. And then, you kind of pull the trigger. Now, I'm a little bit of a commitment phobe. I don't like to commit. So that's kind of what hesitates me from buying, because I like a little bit of each area. So as a nomad, I kind of just bounce around to get that little bit of fix. So, but I know my situation is unique. But hopefully my video helps you in some way, gives you some perspective, and that's a value. So if you appreciate these videos, click the thumbs up and click the blue join button. If you'd like to support the channel and get unlimited live access to all my live feeds. Also, I have a playlist about moving to Florida. Check it out. Hundreds of videos showing you different things, sharing different things. Thank you for watching. Remember, take care of yourself, self-care. Waking up on time, exercising, eating right, healthy relationships is the best thing you can do for your life no matter where you live, because if you're not in a good space, it doesn't matter what space you live in. All right? Peace.